So now we're going to look at something a little different, still rationalizing the denominator. For a denominator that is a sum or difference involving square roots, meaning we're adding or subtracting like we did here, we're going to multiply both the numerator and denominator by what's called the conjugate of the denominator, conjugates. So the expressions a squared root of b plus c squared root of d and a squared root of b minus c squared root of d are conjugates of each other, where a, b, c, and d are rational numbers. So this first one, we have 2 over 5 plus square root of 3. So we're going to multiply by the conjugate. Now we want to do that because that's going to help us get rid of the denominator. So if we multiply the conjugate of 5 plus root 3, it's the same exact terms. The only thing is it's the opposite sign. So if it's positive, it must be negative. Okay, and the reason why that has to be, so remember, if we have a plus b times a minus b, when we multiply that together, we get a squared minus ab plus ab, and this is minus b squared. Notice that in the center, the negative ab and the plus ab, they cancel each other out, and therefore we get a squared minus b squared. And so really that's all this is going to be in the denominator. That's the fast way to do it. We don't really have to multiply it. So let's just do this though. So in the numerator, we're multiplying this to the top and the bottom. So the numerator is 2 times 5 minus root 3. In the denominator, this pattern, this becomes, because it's a plus b and a minus b, this is really just a squared minus b squared. So what is the a in this case? A is 5. So write 5 squared, and it's going to be a minus here. And then we write our b. B is square root of 3. And then we have to square it. That's the pattern. Okay? And so that's the fastest way. We don't have to do FOIL or box method to multiply this out. So 2 times 5, and then multiply here. So 2 times 5, that becomes 10. Now we're multiplying 2 times negative root 3. It's not in the square root, so it just stays on the outside. Negative 2 square root of 3. Okay? We only multiply inside if it's square root of 2 times square root of 3. Okay? So that was our property from before. So it's not in there, so don't do that. So just put it in the front. Okay, so this is 2 times 5. You do multiply those because those are just numbers. And then multiply here. 2 times negative root 3 just becomes 2 root 3. Now the denominator. 5 squared is 25. What is the square root of 3 squared? So if you see the square root of 3 squared, the square cancels out that square root. So the back just becomes negative 3. Okay, so it's really fast to do these. And it's just recognizing those patterns. So let's simplify this a little further. So it becomes 10 minus 2 root 3 over 25 minus 3, which is 22. Now going back a little bit further, so this one's just a really layered problem, but I wanted to do this one together. Do you notice that we can simplify more? You could simplify if there's a number that goes into all the numbers on the outside. Okay, not in the radical, but the outside. What number can I factor out? Well, they all are divisible by 2. So let's divide by 2 for each one. And so now we can simplify this all the way. So 10 goes into 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Minus 2 divided by 2 is 1 square root of 3. And 2 goes into 22 11 times. So now this is done. The next one isn't so bad. You can't simplify that one, so that's okay. So I want you to go ahead and try this bottom one here. It's very similar to that, so getting practice in multiplying. The conjugate for 6 minus root 2, what is the conjugate for 6 minus root 2? That's going to be 6 plus root 2. So that's what you're going to multiply to the numerator and denominator. Okay, so make sure you do that. Try this out. See if you can get this answer. So hope you tried this out and you multiplied 6 plus root 2 to the top and the bottom because that was the conjugate. So it's only the center that's different. The terms are exactly the same. So you multiply 3 times 6. So they're just constants. So that multiplies together. That's 18. 3 times root 2 becomes 3 root 2. Okay, so it just goes on the outside. The denominator, so that's just a squared minus b squared. So I wrote 6 squared minus square root of 2 squared. 6 squared is 36. Square root of 2 squared, it just cancels out the square root, so it becomes 2. Then it's 18 plus 3 root 2 over 34.